Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 y'all. It is Friday. It is Friday. And it is Friday. And it is. And so here I am. Hey, Michelle. Friday. And it is Friday. How are you today? Are you feeling better today? I hope so. I know you said that you still in the bed. You still declaring your healing while giving your body the thing that it needs to do to heal, which is rest. So I'm gonna turn my phone off so that we will not have the bad delay. So I, woo, it has been a very, very good week, y'all. Let me tell you what. Let me tell y'all what. When when you are obedient, this ain't got really nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. When you are obedient, the amazing thing that happens is God will give you all these downloads. He will give you all these, you know, you're wondering how to do, what to do, when to do, where to do. And don't tell my wife. And he gives you all these downloads. And it still may not be the whole picture. But I just feel pushed and supported. Like, God's pushing me in my back, saying, go ahead on, do this, you know. And if you do this, then I got you. Right. And so, uh, separate from Freedom Friday, although this is what freedom looks like, is that when you sit down and you're able to be quiet and quiet your mind and quiet your soul and listen to what he has to say, then he gives you these downloads of things that you should be doing, and he'll tell you to um, how to put in motion the things that you need to do to receive his promises. Now that was just extra. That ain't had nothing to do with what with what's on this paper right here that I was going to just briefly go over. So, you know what I want you to do if you're here. I want you to tell me where you are and what is in your cup. Because welcome to Tea and Truth with Karen Booth, the forgiveness coach, the baggage handler. Where you are, what's in your cup. I hope by now you have tagged a couple of people and you have your favorite beverage. And we are going to get started. We have been talking this month of February, and oh, yes, 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 I have just peach tea by itself today. Peach tea, a little lemon juice, and some honey. I went simple today. It's a little cool outside, but it is very pleasant. The sun is shining, and ain't no snow on the ground, and it's not raining. So, this month of February, which has one more week in it, this month we've been highlighting what the soul is and how unforgiveness rest in the soul and what that looks like. And just to recap, we have the mind, the will, the emotions, the intellect, and the imagination. Okay? And so we talked about the mind and how it replays what happens. And I talked about this briefly in January. Hey, Kim Armstrong, you got your cup? What's in your cup, sis? What's in your cup? And so we have the mind that replays what happens. It loops, it scans for threats, it wants closure, it wants to, it wants all the things. We have the emotions, which fire quickly. They're pretty much involuntary. Like you see somebody, and all of a sudden you have this whole the somebody that did something to you. You have watered down coffee. We have this whole emotional reaction, and that's just a signaling system, if you will, to alert you to where your soul is regarding this person or this situation. High reactivity is not immature in terms of how you emote with your emotions. It's not immaturity. It's letting you know where you are, right? It often means if you are reacting really, really high, really, really hot, really, really fast, then it often means that there's some unresolved pain there. Then the will chooses. The will is the big girl. I ain't gonna never let that. That's your will. That's your will. That's your free will. Your free will is also the thing that got us kicked out of the garden. Yep, you can have every fruit but this one. I think I want that one. Let's get it. Then you have your intellect. The intellect takes it from this is what happened to this is what it means. The intellect is the interpreter. The intellect is the one that says, well, if they did this, then this must mean this about them. And if they did this to me, then this must be what I mean to them. Because what does that say about me? And what does that say about them? And what does that say about relationship? And what does that say about all the time that I have spent? That's what your intellect is doing. Sound tiresome, don't it? But here it is. And then you have your imagination. The imagination is a part of the soul that makes pictures. It rehearses. That's what keeps the story alive. When unforgiveness is there, it's going to keep your emotions hot. It's going to keep your emotions hot. And it's going to keep making pictures. It's going to keep making pictures. It's going to make pictures to match all the reasons that your intellect came up with. The imagination is going to make a Hallmark story out of what the intellect has figured out and what the emotions are emoting and what the mind is asking about. However, if there is forgiveness present, then it becomes a place of place of peace. And then the images that it produces will lean into, you know, being being peaceful, being pleasant with the person, and not ready to pop off like we like to do. Yeah. Okay. So the real issue is the event is over. What they did has been done. Probably been done for a while. It's done, it's over, it's finished. However, the story is still running amok in your mind, your will, your emotions, your intellect, and your imagination. The story will say, I can't trust. The story will say, people always leave. The story will say, I have to guard myself. The story will say, I don't matter. The story will say, I ain't gonna never. All of that. But freedom comes when the story loses its power. The story The story loses its power when you choose to forgive. When the story loses its power, that's when freedom shows up. Let me tell you something. When my story, when I said my story no longer defines me, then that's when the story literally started losing its grip on my identity. Now, when I stopped singing the story because I wore the story like a badge of honor, then I felt kind of exposed. I felt like I was walking around with no clothes on because I had been in that place of unforgiveness, and that story was my definition for so long. Right? And that is why I come on here every day to help people get rid of their story, to help people change their story, to help you whoever's listening. See, I got 3 of y'all here to send the message that the story does not have to define you and to tell defined. The story does not have to define you. I don't know what's going on in my speech today. Maybe I need a nap. The story does not get to define you. That may be your story of choice. That may be what you thought was the way to define yourself because you made it out of said storm. You may be a survivor of blah, blah, and that may be how you see yourself. And that's something that you did, but that's not who you are. And so forgiveness is one of the aspects and one of the ways and one of the tools that you have to let that story go. Because keeping yourself in pain keeps the story alive. Choosing the path of forgiveness opens the door for healing. And that's where we want to be. That's where we want to go. And that's what I'm here for. Now, that is what happens when your soul, in a nutshell, that's what happens when your soul is laden and burdened with unforgiveness. Right? You got the mind doing this thing, you got the emotions popping off, you got the will making choices, you got the intellect trying to figure it out and assign meaning to it. And you got the whole, all of you replaying it all over. So you get stuck in a space. Now, I can help you get unstuck out of space. I can. But you would have to contact me directly for that to happen. Now, that's it for today. That is Freedom Friday. That is what forgiveness does to free your soul from the loop. Now, next week, I have to prepare for the week after. Because the week after, I will be traveling. And for those of you who come back to watch this video, then just stay tuned to my page to see where I'm traveling to see where I'm at whilst I travel. Because the Lord has shown up mightily for me in so many ways. And so I get to travel. And for those of you who know where I'm going, don't be putting it out here. Just let the people come back and look at my page so they can say, oh, we. Because let me tell you something. Had I not walked through a lot of soul healing, and a lot of soul healing involved a lot of forgiveness, then I can promise you that I would not have had the faith to believe God to make a way for this travel to happen. I can promise you that I wouldn't have. Because I was amazing myself at the level of trust and belief that I had that God would do it, because I know a time when I didn't believe that way, like that strongly. Okay? So, next week, I will not be live. I will be in preparation. The week after, I won't be here. I will try my best to put on some pre-recorded things for you to review for next week. But the week after that, just just watch. Just tune in whenever I pop on. Okay? All right. Y'all enjoy the next 2 weeks. Y'all ask Holy Spirit, is there any place that I need to let go of my story? And ask, is there anywhere I need to forgive? And if he says yes, then ask him to help you do so. And if you need to write down a question to ask me, write it down. Now, Michelle, I probably will. I probably will, because God has done his good showing out on this. God has done his good showing out on my behalf. And he's still doing it. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here before I go cry or run or something. But Michelle, I will. And I may even do a video call just for you. All right. I will see y'all in 2 weeks. I love y'all, and stay in the space of forgiveness. All right. Bye.